Beijing is trying to be very cautious with its stance in the war in Ukraine. It's walking this fine line where it tries neither to offend Russia or harm that partnership, or to offend the United States, Europe, and of course Ukraine.
Putting an early end to the fight is the urgent expectation of the international community. It is also what China is striving for.
But that is a form of neutrality that also comes with not condemning Putin. It is unwilling to cut off trade ties with Russia. Has been vetoing some of the bills that are coming through the United Nations.
China will have to vote against this draft resolution.
So for many in the West, they see this as being really a form of pro-Russia neutrality. But for China, they're trying to stay out of it to not get involved. China really struck upon Russia as a key country, perhaps the only country that could really help facilitate this rise in Chinese power within the global international order. Russia may be a declining power, but it's certainly militarily and in things like space is still very strong and kind of punches above its weight. And so very early on, Xi Jinping realized this and started to work with Putin, another strongman leader who is going to be, we assume, in power for a long time. And he started building this personal relationship, from the very first overseas visit through to the Beijing Winter Olympics. The core of the China-Russia relationship and the Xi and Putin relationship is really grievances with the United States in particular.
Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia.
But also the Western-led world order. Where they perhaps differ is that Xi is much more of a cautious leader who likes stability. But Putin thrives on instability, on making sudden moves.
Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
China is Russia's largest trading partner. And so from Russia's point of view, there is huge value in trying to build up that relationship with China and using it as a way of trying to fight back against the sanctions that are crippling its economy. But from Beijing's perspective, trying to do too much right now at a time when so much scrutiny is on Putin is potentially very dangerous, particularly when many of the banks and companies involved have far more business in Europe or North America. Xi has been searching for cracks in the Western sanctions, ways that it can continue to work with Russia without harming its own interests. And at the same time, it's also been turning to other countries around the world who might support China's point of view. So it's trying to build something of a coalition, perhaps in the global south, looking to countries like India, which have also not taken a side. One area that's being watched extremely closely here is the potential for secondary sanctions leveled at China.
If China, in any way, shape, or form, provides material support to Putin in this premeditated, unjust, and unprovoked invasion, there will be consequences.
The US has been very clear that if China is to go out of its way to help Russia, if it's going to send military aid, or it's going to increase purchases of oil and gas, then Chinese companies may come under sanctions as well. And so that's going to be a very important development to work out just how far this relationship goes, how strong it is, and whether or not China is willing to take a side as the war develops.